$5 Games presents Resident Evil. This critically acclaimed horror-defining game ended up being a lot more calming than what I was expecting. The game begins with the news telling a story about a group of zombies emerging from the forest and eating fellow citizens. The protagonist team is sent to investigate. But upon arriving, one of their members gets taken out by zombie dogs. They then escape to a mysterious mansion which they find to be filled with evil residents. Gameplay-wise, it's 6 inventory slots, That's very few. Like, in so much that I see the shotgun and I'm like, I can't take that. I don't have the room. Luckily, the enemies are few and far between. Actually, I'm tempted to just run through the place without a weapon just for the extra room. They do a nice job of cutting out the music and giving audio cues to indicate that something is going on, such as bangings on a door, the window cracking as you walk by it, or the subtle steps of a zombie on patrol. Unfortunately, these audio cues are not reliable, as although the developers seem to have implemented sound localization, as in if something happens to your right, you hear it out of your right ear, it didn't line up with what I was seeing on the screen. I don't know if I'm misunderstanding the perspective of where I'm supposed to be hearing the sound from, or if it wasn't intended to tell me where the zombie was. But none of that really matters when the zombie just stands there silently. So get ready for a stroke of fear every time the camera switches. There are short cinematics interspersed throughout the game. These aren't ones used to disguise a loading screen. Rather, they were trying to emphasize the dread of the encounter. And so they were interesting and felt classical in a way. The puzzles were fine and the traps were, fairly obvious. The extremely limited inventory combined with the limited number of saves are definitely intentional and requires you to plan on how you want to play the game, as they frequently give you the keys to a lock before showing you which one you need. You can remember where all the keys are located as you pass by. You can save and load to avoid wasting time. You can save and load to create a crit path. Or you can clear out the place and just run through it again whenever you come to a new lock. I'm sure they won't punish you later for doing that last option. There is a storage bin, but the first one I came across was so far out of the way that it seemed like it was only there if I accidentally picked up too many keys and needed to drop them off, as the original location of the keys were closer to the locks than that storage bin. The alternative character has 2 more inventory slots, alleviating the claustrophobic feel a little bit, but it's not enough to escape it altogether. Overall, what I think ties the game together is the enemies not being that dangerous. Unless you mess up, of course, like trying to knife the first zombie to death. Yeah, that didn't go well. Subscribe, I do 5 games each week until I get to 100 videos. That's a wrap for this game. Consider picking this game up instead of an umbrella.